Welcome back to another episode of Crypto and Things. I am your host, Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're going to be talking about my entire portfolio and how I was able to go from $6,000 to $56,000. And I'm very, very proud of that. I was able to do that in one day under a year because I started investing in the stock market November 14th of 2019, which is the anniversary of that is tomorrow. So I will hopefully get that out just before then. But yes, I was able to build $50,000 worth of Canadian dollars in my portfolio and my investments in just 1 year. This isn't to brag. This is to show you guys that this is possible when you really, really get serious and you do whatever you can to invest and make this happen. I've been saving about 65% of my income and investing all of that into stocks and crypto and a little bit into precious metals, and it has turned out phenomenally. Mind you, there was a huge dip in the market that I was able to take advantage of at the beginning of COVID. But if you can continue building your wealth, it snowballs. Because if you're building a portfolio based on, passive income, then you're going to compound interest with your dividends. If you're reinvesting all the dividends, which I absolutely have been and will be, and you're able to really grow that portfolio much faster the more you have. So the more you've got, the faster it's going to grow, and then that's compounding interest. And the more frequently that you're getting paid, the faster that it's going to compound. So that's kind of the principle that I'm going for. If you can save 65% of your wealth and in your income and invest that into assets and build your wealth for 10 years or so, technically that is the goal to shoot for if you'd like to retire. If you can save for 65% of your income for 10 years in a row and invest all of it in good stocks and crypto that pay you passively, and then reinvest all that, you should be able to retire and live off of the passive income generated by those assets if your lifestyle and expenses do not change. So there's a lot of caveats to that, but that is what I'm pursuing. If I could continue doing this for the next 9 years or so, I would assume I would have somewhere around $1 million in net worth, if not more, with compounding interest and appreciation and all that good stuff. So let's actually talk about the exact amounts, because I know you guys want to know, how is this possible? So I started with about $6,000 of cryptocurrency when I really started to get aggressive about investing into stocks and to crypto. And this was just about a year ago. So since then, I have put about $50,000 more, or rather, I've grown my portfolio $50,000, because I definitely didn't put in $50,000 principal. A lot of this has been appreciation. And the method that I've really used is just dollar cost averaging, because I'm putting my income in every time I get paid. Some people might argue that a lump sum invest is more effective, but if you don't have a lump sum, right, which I didn't, you just invest your income all the time, every time you get paid, as much as you possibly can. For me, I was able to get to 65% of my income and invest all of that each paycheck, and it's generated amazing returns for me. So again, if you have money and you're thinking, what should I be doing with this? You should be investing it. If you don't have money, you should be finding ways to save so that you can invest. In the past year, I've grown my cryptocurrency portfolio to $34,731 Canadian. I've got my precious metals up. This is actually higher, but I haven't priced in the value of what it is currently, but it has gone up since I bought. So $1,115 in precious metals, which is silver and gold, and $19,230 in dividend stocks, and then $1,116 in growth stocks, with a total of $56,192.93. Again, that is slightly higher because my precious metals are a little bit more valuable than when I bought them. And yeah, here we are, $50,000 more. Again, this is not to brag. This is to simply show you that this is possible. And once you get really serious about investing, this is what you can achieve. I haven't been day trading. I haven't been doing anything like that. I've made a little bit of money with, something going way, way up in like crypto and then selling out, or, one of my stocks going way, way up and then balancing that out through the rest of my portfolio. I wouldn't really consider that like short-term trading. I think it's important to balance out your portfolio, even if you're doing long-term investing. But my goal is long-term investing and building my passive income. I do have a good amount of growth cryptocurrencies, not much for growth stocks. But I see a lot more growth happening in the crypto market. So I'm fine to do that. But for the most part, I want to focus on building passive income so that I can live off of that income, as well as being able to compound the interest by reinvesting all of those dividends and my earnings from crypto right back into the same stocks and the same cryptocurrencies to continue building that wealth. I find that's a much more effective method than just looking and speculatively investing in stocks that are very risky or you think may go up and stuff like that. I'm more interested in fundamentals, very solid, good stocks and cryptocurrencies, investing in those and dollar cost averaging in every time I get paid, because I'm trying to build this wealth so that I can retire in the next 9 years, ideally. And if I can keep this up with compounding interest and all that good stuff, I should have close to, if not more than $1 million in the next 9 years in net worth, paying me a very substantial amount. And ideally, I could live off that if my expenses do not change in the next 10 years. And again, this is not to brag. This is to simply show you guys that this is possible and this is what you could do if you really skimp, save as much as you possibly can, do everything you can, like cutting your own hair. I cut down on like if I'm drinking orange juice, if I'm drinking milk, I will literally, half of that I will pour in water and half of it is what I will be drinking. So I stretch out every dollar to the most ridiculous amounts that you could possibly think of. I'm ridiculously frugal to a fault, but this is what you can achieve, right? So it's absolutely substantial, and I'd love to see other people be able to achieve the same thing, and I'm here to show you that it's possible, right? So let's actually take a look at my dividend stocks. So I know, like, if you're a serious investor and you know quite a a thing or two, you're probably going to look at this and say, this guy has way too many stocks, and you're probably right. People suggest that you should have probably like 10 to 15 stocks and just really closely monitor that. I don't want to spend too much time monitoring, news on the stocks and different things like that, because I'm holding long term. I'm investing in companies that I believe are going to still be in my portfolio in 20, 30, 40 years. So with that in mind, that is what I've been investing in, and I'm trying to really diversify amongst the different sectors that I want to invest in, which is going to end up making me have, I want to have a few different banks. I want to have a few different consumer good companies. I want to have a few different energy companies, a few different food companies. So I don't want to just put everything into one basket, but the problem there is that it's hard for me to actually effectively keep up with everything. So yes, while I'm probably not keeping up with news and updates with these companies as best as I should, I'm pretty happy with how my portfolio has been growing. Just so you know, this is a little inaccurate because this doesn't take into account the US stocks that I've invested in and actually convert the money. I've done that myself. So that's why this isn't exactly the same as what you saw in the other document. This is the breakdown of my entire portfolio in terms of the sectors. So you can see I have quite a bit into just general ETFs so that I don't have to worry too much about that. I'm probably going to heavy up a little bit more on ETFs because I want to take the advice of professional investors and not be spread out so thin across all these different stocks and having to keep up with them. So I'm starting to consolidate a little bit more, and I sold all my oil, all those stocks that were seemingly much more risky in my opinion, and I put all that into general investing ETFs. I will dive into more my recent changes in my next dividend update. This video is specifically to be talking about my $50,000 worth of net worth over the past year, and what I sort of did to do this, because you shouldn't be watching this video and thinking, oh, I want to buy the exact same stocks that Scott bought, because I bought things based on price opportunity, based on a lot of different things. There was a huge dip in the market. So much has happened. The real thing to consider here is that I was a complete amateur with no experience. I wasn't just investing in things that people told me to invest in. I was doing the research myself, and I was investing in what I thought would be good based on what I wanted to do for my investing portfolio. And that's going to be different for every person. As you can see here, I've got the weight of the different sectors that I invest in and the goals that I want to achieve. This is the actual breakdown. I'm probably the most heavily invested in real estate, and that's simply because I have a lot of REITs. And I believe that's a very, very safe place to be investing. You know, some people might say it's risky because of COVID and a lot of evictions and things like that. I don't invest in any commercial REITs because, you know, many people aren't going out and actually going to stores these days compared to how they used to. So I don't feel those are safe anymore. But I always believe that investing in like apartments and housing and residential is always going to be valid. Even if there are evictions, even if there are troubles paying, they're always going to get back to where they need to, and they pay a very, very good yield because you're just getting a portion of the rent versus dividend stocks paying you out dividends. So it's a little different, but I'm very, very happy with how it's played out. So you can see this breakdown here. You can pause it and take a look if you want. I don't want to focus too much on that. In terms of passive income, I'm currently getting on average $139.07 per month in passive income, which is, again, phenomenal. That pays for my cell phone bill as well as my portion of the power bill. So as I continue to go and hit these different milestones, I want to be paying off different expenses for the rest of my life. I am not actually putting this towards those bills right now because I'm reinvesting all of this and compounding my interest to get the most out of my money, which is what you should be doing as well. The idea here is that I'm slowly building up my wealth and the amount coming in, my passive income, to then cover all of my expenses when I hopefully retire in 9 years or less. And it's definitely possible because it's been working out great for me. And again, I have to continually highlight that I was an amateur. I barely knew anything. I made mistakes. I did tons of things, but you just got to get started and get into it. And it starts to snowball, right? You find ways to save money. You find ways to make money, you know, shaving my head myself, doing my own haircuts, you know, stretching dollars to the best of my ability. I will literally pour water into my orange juice so that I can stretch out the value of that as much as I possibly can. I am frugal to a fault, and I'm more than happy to be that way because this has helped me get $50,000 in 1 year. And again, most people are probably sitting there thinking like that's crazy that that's possible, because my income isn't crazy. It has absolutely grown with the help of cryptocurrency and all of my followers, which I appreciate very, very much. But you can do this with a regular modest budget too. Maybe not $50,000, but if you're able to save 65% of your income every single year and invest that as you go, I dollar cost average in with every paycheck. So I have a little nest egg saved in my bank, and I have a little bit of money that comes in that goes towards my expenses, and all the rest goes into investing. So 65% of the money that comes in every month goes right into my investment accounts and my cryptocurrency. And it's as simple as that. I invest in good fundamentals, good stocks, good cryptocurrencies. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of speculation, but for the most part, I'm holding for basically forever. I don't intend to sell these stocks. I intend to keep these in my portfolio to just passively pay me, ideally for the rest of my life, or as long as I possibly can, unless something happens with the stock and I need to sell. That is the one part that I don't have covered perfectly because I am spread out very thin with the amount of stocks that I have. So I definitely do need to work on better ways to aggregate news and different things to get a better, more holistic view of my portfolio. I do keep on top of this very, very frequently. I check it very frequently. I stay on top of a lot of updates and different things, but obviously not as best as I should because there's quite a few stocks to keep on top of. Again, ETFs, though, you do not have to worry about too much because they're kind of doing all that for you. Obviously, you have to invest in good, solid ETFs to make that possible. But with that being said, ETFs are a very, very easy way to expose yourself to a lot of different cryptocurrencies or stocks, depending on which market you're investing, as well as index funds, which are usually kind of like ETFs, but they're looking at an entire, like say if you invest in the S&P 500, that's the top 500 companies. So an index fund is usually a lot more, and it's for like a specific thing, whereas ETFs can really cover anything. So that's kind of a caveat there, but it's not super important whether you're doing index funds or ETFs. As long as they're paying you a good yield, it's usually fairly safe comparatively. I mean, obviously, as long as you're investing in good, solid ETFs with good fundamentals and a good track record. With that being said, though, so my portfolio currently is up 7%, and it's about $25,000 with for passive, like my passive income portfolio, when that includes, my passive crypto, my passive realty payments, and then also payments coming in from royalties for music that I have made in the past. Again, this isn't exactly accurate because it doesn't take into account the US stocks that I have, which I've recently started investing in. I will add something in here to correct for that, so this is a little bit more accurate. But as I showed you at the beginning on the Word document, my dividend stocks with the conversions are actually $19,230.76. So yeah. So look, I'm not going to go through and show you every single stock because I don't need you guys copying me, because again, I did a lot of this based on price opportunity, based on what my portfolio was supposed to be for me. You should never copy someone's portfolio outright. If you see good stocks that you like on my list, research them for yourself and then make your decision. But I've done a lot of research on each individual stock here before I made my decision as well. So, again, while I'm a little overextended in the amount of stocks that I'm invested in, and probably cryptocurrencies as well, I feel really good about where I'm at. And yeah, so let's take a look at some of my growth investments real quick, because there isn't very many. This is very, very recent that I got into. Started investing in AMD because I believe that they're going to really take over the market in terms of CPUs and GPUs. And I think they're doing an amazing job, and I'm really curious to see how that plays out. And then the rest are lithium-based companies, whether it's lithium stocks, lithium batteries. I'm very keen on getting into that because I think lithium and renewable energy is going to be very, very big. I don't usually play around with growth stocks because I want to build passive income, but I'm happy to take a small amount of money and see how that plays out. Again, this isn't exactly accurate because some of these are US. So the value on the Word document is the correct value. I still need to correct for that as well. I'm going to make all these updates before I do my next dividend update, which then you can see my recent buys and the things that I've done lately. But for this, it's kind of just looking holistically at my portfolio and talking about some of the concepts and the things that you should be aware of. Because again, I'm an amateur investor. I don't know that much. I don't have any authority or expertise. Everything that I've done has really just been diving in and saying, look, I want to invest my money. I want to build wealth. And I don't want to wait, because if I waited and I researched and I did all the right things, I still would have made less money than what I have today, because I would have missed all the dips. I would have missed all the appreciation, all the dividend payments, and I would have also had my money suffer from inflation, which has gone up massively with all the printing by the Federal Reserve and in Canada as well. So you've also got to consider all these things. The best time to invest is now. So that is the growth stocks. It's very, very minimal. I don't intend to get crazy with this. I intend for growth stocks to only be like 5, maybe 10% of all of my stock investments. I want to mainly just focus on passive income because I think that's much more important. And what I'll end up doing, I won't even end up keeping these. Once these make a very, very good profit, I will sell them and then I will buy dividend stocks. I also make a little bit of money for music that I've made in the past. In total, I've made about $320, though I originally invested about $1,500. But that's a 20% return in just a couple of years. So, if this keeps going, then I expect this to keep growing and growing. I won't bother sharing my music with you guys. If you find it, you find it, but that's a whole other thing. Realty is where I've invested tokenized crypto real estate. So this is a great way to expose yourself to real estate in the crypto world. So I have these different like cryptocurrency versions, tokenized assets of these stocks held in my MetaMask wallet, and I can actually show you guys that real quick. So here in my MetaMask wallet, if I scroll down, these are the different realty tokenized properties that I own. And they just holding them in my wallet, every few days I get paid in USDC. I recently took this out and spent some money, but recent payments have added up to about $2.37 Canadian. So this is awesome. I just have these in my wallet, and every few days USDC, which is a US dollar cryptocurrency stablecoin, and it's pegged to the US dollar, and I just get paid that into my wallet every couple of days. So it's just a fantastic way to earn passive income, and these are just rental payments being deferred and paid out slowly throughout the month. So that is pretty much everything for this. And then I've got my crypto investments. These are passive crypto investments. So, I've got like Tron, Hive, Bitmax, Loom, Algo, BNB, ADA, Tezos, Polkadot. And then I have a bunch of stable coins that I'm lending on various lending platforms and earning money that way. The rest are being staked, and that's how I'm earning money, whether it's soft or hard staking. You can check out some of my other videos on what that's all about, but it's sort of similar to dividend payouts, but you have to like lock your crypto in to the platform for a certain amount of time, or to just have it on the platform being held there to be continually earning those payouts. This has been pretty good. Not only has this grown in value, but it's been paying out pretty consistently, and I've been tracking everything, and I've been very happy with the results that I've been getting. So that is pretty much the entirety of my passive income portfolio and also my growth stocks. But now I'm going to share with you on my phone screen here. We're going to take a look at my Blockfolio portfolio. So this is my Blockfolio portfolio. You can see I've grown quite a bit. Actually, since I started doing this video, my cryptocurrency has already gone up a couple $100 US. So that's really good to see. Bitcoin went over $16,000, which is insane. Ethereum is also just, going crazy. It's going way, way up. You can see here, if I go to my main portfolio and look at the past year, I am up $21,499, which is just, something that I would have never expected to see happen. The bulk of this is in Bitcoin and Ethereum, And, if everything plays out perfectly and we see a peak in next year in like October or something like that, I may end up selling out quite a bit and maybe buying like a rental property, which will speed up the whole process of me eventually, being able to retire a lot faster, probably a lot sooner than 9 years if I have a rental property that's going to be paying me quite a bit. But it'll probably go to the mortgage, all to the mortgage at first. Anyways, though, this is to really just show you guys like what you can achieve by dollar cost averaging in. Every month I was putting in about $1,000, somewhere around there, into my portfolio, as well as I was able to earn cryptocurrency through my social media channel that you guys are watching right now, just from posting and people donating, tips, all that good stuff. I have been paying my expenses with crypto as well. So this isn't exactly like what I've earned 100%, because this includes, every time I've ever taken out money to pay for various expenses, which are on average, I've been spending $800 a month in fiat and $800 a month in crypto every month, totaling around $1,600 in expenses, which is fairly low. I don't have a car. I cut my own hair. As I said at the beginning, I am frugal to a fault, but it's afforded me being able to invest all of my money and build wealth at a much faster rate than someone who isn't able to sacrifice all these things. And whether or not you are able to sacrifice these things, or you actually go out of your way to do it like me, I know a lot of people say it's unrealistic, but I'm doing exponentially more than anyone I expect to ever do. So even if you can do half of what I'm doing, I'm sure you can make up the money to be able to achieve something along these lines. Even if you're just saving 32.5% of your income, you could retire in 20 years, not 5 years. In 20 years, which is still substantial, right? Being able to retire in 20 years is still a huge feat. Not quite the feat that 10 years is going to be if I'm able to do that in the next 9, but I'm still very confident that that's possible, and I'm following that goal rigorously. So along with all these things, obviously there's some other caveats. You should be budgeting. You should be doing a lot of different things to be able to actually effectively keep track and ensure that you're able to do this and achieve 65% of your income, or whatever percentage you're willing to do. But let's actually go into my portfolio and look at some of the things that I've invested in. You can see here when I actually break down the holdings that it is majority Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything else starts to go much, much lower. You can see I do have quite a bit in LBC. This isn't necessarily because I'm thinking it's going to grow so much as it is that I have a lot of LBC for utility's sake. I use it for boosting visibility on Library LBRY so that I can earn more money there from social media. And if you are curious as to how much I've been earning, I've also been putting out reports every month talking about my earnings on social media. So you can see all of that, as well as every company I've ever worked with. And, all that transparency is out there for you guys to check out, because I want to be 100% transparent with you. So you don't think I'm, hiding something or doing something illegitimate to get this money. Everything that I do is for everyone to see, so that you guys can see that it's possible, and so that you could do the exact same thing. If you wanted to replicate what I've done, it's really just about looking into the stocks and to the cryptocurrencies that are really solid and good for your investment portfolio, and then investing as much money as you can possibly muster each month or each time you get paid, and keeping that going as best as you possibly can, and just building wealth over time. Everyone wants to get rich now. Think about it in terms of the next 10 years and the next 20 years, and it'll snowball, right? If I get to the point where I need to retire in the next 5 years, it'll be because I rigorously stuck to trying to get my 10-year goal, but, Bitcoin moons in a year or whatever happens will exponentially speed up the process. So have a goal, stick to it rigorously, and just keep investing, dollar cost averaging in, doing whatever you need to do in the best way that you can to build your wealth. So the US dollars here is just to represent my tokenized real estate, because that's not going to change really in value. That is mainly just for the passive income because it pays out very, very well. Then everything else starts to get much, much smaller in terms of the investments. I have Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin. Let me start that again. I have Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, DOT. These are all just things that I think are solid investments, so I wanted to put some in there. DOT, I have in my savings account on Binance, so that's earning me some passive income. BTMX, Loom, Hive, Tron, these are all earning me passive income. Dash, I occasionally invest in, put some money in there because it's very easy to use for daily transactions. Same with BCH, that's kind of why I have that there as well. But Dash is easier to use with the app. So the only reason it's kind of low right now is because I've been using it for, buying various things as I need to. BNB I've just been holding. Tezos, ADA, these are things that I've been earning passively on Binance. I probably hold a little bit more crypto than I'm super comfortable with on Binance, probably close to $2,000. But it's very, very good to be able to soft stake and earn cryptocurrency. I probably won't put anything more, and I'll just let that build now because, you don't want to keep cryptocurrency on an exchange. You want to hold it in a wallet that you control. So for a lot of these other ones, Algo as well is another one that I'm earning passively with. ENJ, BAT, these are just things that I really believe in, so I'm holding on to these over time. These are some speculative growth cryptos. So a lot of these I don't put very much money into because these are just very speculative. I don't keep up with these very, very, often, but I believe in what they're doing with their projects. BAT is amazing. And that's why I've invested in a small amount to see how that plays out. Either way, the majority of what I've invested is in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's where I'm really betting the most. And I have the most confidence in that they're going to go up and continue to rise. C20 and STA are sort of like ETFs. C20 is more of like a crypto index fund. It is the top 20 cryptocurrencies, whereas STA is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Synthetics, I believe, as well as some STA in there. I believe that's what the holding is. So it's kind of more like an ETF. So the reason I have these two is because I wanted to kind of get a little bit of exposure to something like that in the crypto space, because it was very hard for me to find index funds or ETFs in the crypto space. And when I finally was able to find some, I decided I would invest. And then I have a little over $100 in several stable coins, which I'm just simply lending out. And then a couple other coins like FRM, I think is very, very good. A lot of different companies are using this for staking. So again, I'm just speculating on these. So don't take my advice for anything aside from Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything else is really just, stuff that I'm taking bets on, and I don't have a crazy amount of money behind all this. One Up is just some of my earnings. Steam is just some leftover Steam that I have. Nothing substantial there. Dapps coin is a great privacy coin, and the rest here I have a little bit of, but I'm not really paying attention to it until I can actually access it and get it out. So I'm not really concerned about these values. But that's pretty much my whole account. I hope that gives you a good idea of, the crypto that I'm holding, why I'm holding it, what I'm doing with it. Again, if you don't know what to do, in my opinion, the safest investments are Bitcoin and Ethereum. But that is my opinion, and by no means is any of this financial advice. Again, I don't even advise for you to try to copy what I'm doing or replicate anything whatsoever that I've been trying to do myself, because it's all based on timing, opportunity. It doesn't make sense for your portfolio. Do you actually believe in that stock or cryptocurrency or company? And, a lot of different things factor into this. So it should never just be a blank copy of someone else's portfolio. You're probably going to lose money that way, because you could copy one of the most successful portfolios and then the market could dip. So you'll think, oh, this was a failed endeavor, but it's all just about timing. If you're holding long term, it really shouldn't matter at the end of the day, as long as you're invested in solid, good cryptocurrencies, good stocks, things that have great fundamentals. That's the most important thing. If they have a good track record, if they have good fundamentals, if everything in it is solid, and you're not just speculating, you don't just hear a stock tip and decide to buy this stock because you think it's going to 10x. You invest in a little more conservatively to really build wealth in the long term. Again, you don't want to be day trading. You don't want to be, short-term trading. If you invest long-term and something happens to play out really well, and then you decide to sell and get a bunch of profit from that, that's fine, but it shouldn't be the main goal, because it's not very reliable or sustainable. Most people lose money trying to day trade. And especially if you're like me and, you're an amateur, you don't have the expertise to actually pick the right things and have and be able to, go through and technical analysis of different cryptocurrencies or stocks and all these different things. And, and you probably don't have the time to be doing this, especially if you have a job. So what you should be doing is just looking into good, solid stocks and cryptocurrencies that you can invest in to build your wealth over a long period of time. I am more than thrilled to be able to be at this milestone in my life. I never, ever would have seen this possible a long time ago. I've still got student debt and things like that, but now my student debt is basically being able to be paid for passively with my passive income. So yeah, it's pretty amazing what you can achieve when you really put your mind to it. And once you really get into the investing mindset, you'll find so many ways to save money and invest money and build your income. And I really believe that this is the best way to build an income so that you can retire and be financially free, because financial freedom should be the goal for everyone. I am very, very much on the path to financial independence and financial freedom. Essentially, with the money that I've been making in cryptocurrency, I could just retire and live off of that, but it's not very reliable or sustainable, because, I could stop getting that money. Who knows what might happen? So instead, I'm going to continue pursuing everything that I've been doing and, continuing with my day job and all that stuff for at least another 9 years. And then hopefully I can retire then and just focus on the things I want to do with my time, because I will have the luxury to be able to do that. And it's not because I was given any money from my parents, right? Like I have no trust fund or anything like that. It's not because some mentor gave me the secret tips. No one gave me any tips. I didn't do any courses. I only just started really reading investment books. You just dive in and you start looking, and you see something, you don't understand what it is, you look it up, you learn about it, you just keep going and going and going. And yeah, you'll probably make some mistakes, but it's better to start investing now than to wait later, because again, I would have missed all of the payments, all the payouts, all the dividends. I would have missed out on the appreciation. I would have not bought in the dips. I wouldn't have even had my account set up to be able to do any of this stuff. And it would have been much more challenging to do that during the beginning of the lockdown as well, because my nearest bank was also closed down. So I had to go to the much further branch, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many different things that are going to add up into why the best time to start investing is today. So I recommend that you do, but none of this is financial advice in terms of like what to invest in or how to use your money or what you want to do. This is just simply what I've done. I wanted to show you guys that it's possible. Honestly, in terms of investing, I'm a nobody. So, the fact that I can build $50,000 in 1 year means most people probably can do this too. I will caveat with saying that I've sacrificed more than most people will ever be willing to do. Not having a car, not really dating, no spouse in the near future, nothing like that. I'm going to continue doing exactly what I've been doing for the next 9 years, building my wealth to the point where I have probably over $1 million of net worth and I retire. So if you're interested in doing something like that, you can follow along with all my dividend updates. I've been posting them every month for the past several months. I'm going to be posting my 9th dividend update very, very soon. And I wanted to just get this one out first because this is a very, very big milestone. This could be so game changing for a lot of people. I know 99% of people that will even bother to watch this will probably say this is unrealistic. I can't save this type of money. I'm not going to get rid of my car. I'm not going to not buy a car. I'm not going to cut my own hair. I'm sure everyone can spew out excuses for days. The only fair excuses that I really give are if you have, if you're already way further in your life, you've got a spouse, you've got kids, you've got all these things that you literally can't, you have to deal with these and you have to take care of these. But not everyone has to have a car. I mean, anyone can make up reasons why and excuses as to why they have to have this thing, but I could have made those same excuses. Instead, I said, no, I'm not going to buy a car. I'm going to force myself to not and just make do. And you'll find the way. You'll find ways, right? I've gone over this before in different budget episodes, in many different things in the past. So you can go back and you can see exactly what I spend on, what my budget is, how I'm able to achieve all these things. I've already covered all of this through and through in previous videos. So you can see all that as well. But there are so many ways for you to save money, to cut back, to do so many different things. Lately, I bought new multi-packs of shirts for $250 each. I'm just going to be wearing black shirts in the future. That's all I'll wear. I won't bother having any branded clothing, any Gucci. I don't have a car. I don't buy new shoes. I don't really buy much of anything except for things that I think are going to improve my business or something that's going to bring value. So for example, yes, I did spend money on this backdrop, on the lighting, on many different things for this podcast, but this podcast is also generating me anywhere between $500 to $1,500 every single month, if not more than that. So that's pretty substantial. And another thing was that I recently sold some stuff on Kijiji, which was able to afford all these upgrades. So I don't even consider anything that I bought, something that was coming out of my income coming in, because again, I'm always saving 65%. Always, always, always. If you can stick to your budget and you can always invest the right amounts and you never waver, it should be like clockwork. You don't have to do much if you stick to what you need to do to be able to achieve the things that you'd like to achieve. Again, you can see that I've done it. It's possible. If you have any questions about the different things that I've done or, specific stock buys, different things like that, check out the next dividend update that I do where I'll go a little more in depth into my recent purchases and how the stock market recently just went crazy and shot up. I sold out all my oil, a bunch of different changes. You can see, real quick, I'll go back to sharing my screen. You can see all these red are ones that I've sold and all the green are things that I've purchased lately. So I've definitely done a lot of different changes to my account. I basically sold out all of my commercial real estate and all my oil, and I kind of switched all that. And I'm really happy with everything as it is. So again, let me know what you guys are doing. How have you been investing? How are you saving money? How are you making money? What do you think of all of this? And will you be sticking along and checking out new updates? Hopefully, check out my next update very, very soon. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, keep getting that crypto. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.